Hello. Again, I'm trying to get set up, as I always am, to get situated with the lighting and the camera and all those wonderful things. And of course, as you all can well see, I'm not professional when it comes to that. But I don't think you have to be a professional to be on YouTube. Although I'm sure there are some people that are professionals with cameras and things. But anyway. Our topic for today's YouTube video is Chapter 14 from the textbook. And that chapter is called, get my little handy-dandy textbook out because I didn't write it down on my notes. Not a very good idea. Nutrients that promote growth and regulate body functions. So, there is a lot of content in the textbook that is got a lot of the science part of nutrition in it, and some of it is a little bit more, I guess you could say, a little more detail than we really need. But there again, our competencies our course competencies have to do with the understanding what nutrients are necessary for children. And we also need to, we also talk a lot when we are dealing with the topic of nutrition about childhood obesity. So, you know, I think most of 14 is going to be back to the first competency I mentioned, nutrients that are necessary for children. Now, I will talk some about, you know, what is in comparison to comparing children to what's necessary for adults. But the majority of what I want you to take away from this is think about what is relevant to children, because you are preparing to work with children, young children. As I've said before, early childhood covers ages birth through 8, which would be birth through 5. 5-year-olds are usually at the pre-K level. As they're an older 5-year-old after a certain date. I'm not sure that the state was talking about changing that date, but I think it's still September 1st. After September 1st, if you are 5, you can go to kindergarten. I think I'm right on that. It's been a while. So the students that are older 5-year-old that turns 5 after September 1st, and those students from that age, kindergarten, first and second graders, basically is the in early 3rd grade. They turn 8 in 3rd grade, and some of them will be turning 9, you know, after the first of the year. So that's our realm of typically early childhood ages. So anyway, when we're talking about nutrients, I want you to think about kids birth through ages 8, even though I will make some comparisons just to give you an idea of what the requirements are for adults. Okay, nutrients are unable to function independently. For example, the body's ability to absorb iron is significantly increased when vitamin C is present. It is important for children and adults, but we are focusing on children, to consume a rich variety of nutrients, because nutrients depend on one another. Meeting the requirements of calcium, iron, vitamins A and C can be a challenge, since foods that supply these nutrients are often not the favorite foods of children. Food acceptance and preferences are strongly influenced by a child's developmental stage. Foods that children often dislike: red meat, or any type of meat, beef, and the reason why, of course, now some pork can be difficult to chew as well. But it's because they have small teeth and weaker jaw muscles, so chewing is difficult for them. Fruits and vegetables, specifically broccoli. I know a lot of adults that aren't too crazy about broccoli, but broccoli is a very good food to eat, good vegetable. Cabbage is another one. Beets. And I have to say I have never developed a taste for beets, although I know that they are a very good vegetable to eat. But those vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, and beets, are sour or they have a strong flavor, so that makes them not as enjoyable for children. Children often dislike those. Foods that are unfamiliar are often rejected because the children have just not had a lot of experience with those foods, limited experience with those foods. So, you know, that's what, as you travel and go to other places, maybe go to other restaurants that serve food from fruits and vegetables and other items from other places. A lot of times, my children, not so much my boys. My boys will pretty much eat anything. They're not too good on green vegetables, but my daughter specifically is really picky. We always wind up, chicken fingers or a hot dog or something. But that's restaurants offer those for children because a lot of times that's all the parents can get the child to eat. An additional issue is that children in families that are undergoing economic hardship, it limits the number of foods and nutrients that they are able to provide. Milk, which has calcium, meat, which has iron, fruits and vegetables, which are filled with vitamins A and C, are often missing from children's diets. These minerals are not widely spread in foods and are poorly absorbed. And those are the ones that children need the most. So that's why the variety is important. Children need proteins. Proteins are the only class of nutrients that can perform all three general functions. And those are build and repair body tissue, regulate body functions, and provide energy. Proteins supply the material from which all body cells, tissues, and fluids, such as hormones and antibodies, are built. They are concentrated in muscles, glands, organs, bones, blood, skin, and account for 15% of a person's body weight. Proteins yield amino acids. How much protein is needed? Now, the information that I'm sharing here is also on one of the slides in Chapter 14's PowerPoint. But infants 0 to 6 months need 9.1 grams a day. 7 to 12 months need 11.0 grams per day. Children 1 to 3, 13 grams a day. 4 to 8, 19 grams per day. Males over 18, here we go, here's where the jump comes in, 56 per day. Now, if you had to feed my son Nathan, who's 6'5", 250, he'd probably need way more than that. Females over 18, 46 grams per day. If you'll take a look, I always like to refer back to the textbook. I want you guys to feel like you got your money's worth by buying that textbook, because I want to refer to it. It is a very good textbook. It is full of very good information that is a valuable resource. And but Figure 14-1 at the bottom of 359 is a circle graph, or some people call them a pie chart, that shows how protein is distributed in the body. Take a look at that. It's really interesting. I don't know, I'm a visual learner, so when I look at charts and graphs, that's something that appeals to me in my learning style. So I'm not sure if that is as appealing to you, but those of you that have children that are in public school or in school in general that are taking the test in the upper grades, like, well, I don't know when they start. I know by third, but they do have to look at charts and graphs a lot in math and make sense of them and answer questions about them. So it's always good to know that information. Okay, we're going to talk about complete proteins and incomplete proteins. First of all, complete proteins are typically found in animal source foods such as meats, seafood, eggs, and milk, also other dairy products. Incomplete proteins lack the amount of one or more essential amino acids. They are found primarily in plant-based foods such as grains, legumes, which are peas and peanuts, dried beans, and vegetables such as corn, and also soybeans. If you'll take a look at table 14-2, it's a yellow box at the bottom of page 362, there is an example of a menu that requires or that is supplying the recommended daily allowance of protein for children ages 4 through 6. Please note, hear me well, for one part, and it's actually part 3 of 3, of our nutrition project, you will have to create a week's menu plan for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. I already told you guys I might say it's supper because we say supper, of course, here in my family, and I think that's pretty southern tradition, but if I say supper, I'm talking about dinner. The box there on table 14-2, page 362, is an example of a one-day menu. You all will need to make several days. Children are typically in school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so a 5-day menu, 5 days. And later on, I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, and without dragging the book out, there is an example of a menu for a week in the textbook. I'm thinking it's chapter 17, but I can point that out better later. But that gives you an idea of what one day should look like. The table on 14-2, 362 again. All right, let's move on to vitamins. Vitamins support growth. All right, they help with DNA and RNA production, cell division, bone and blood formation. They are involved in regulating body functions like bone development, energy and metabolism, neuromuscular function. If you'll take a look at tables 14-3, which is on 364 and 365, is also a yellow box, is a summary of vitamins. It talks about the functions of the vitamins, the sources where they can be found. Very important information if you're trying to make sure that children are getting vitamins from particular sources, the deficiency symptoms, and the toxicity symptoms, which means too much. The next part that I'm going to talk about is minerals. Minerals provide no energy. They are inorganic substances that are only needed in small amounts, but they are essential for building body tissue, such as bone, teeth, and blood. Also, they are essential for regulating blood functions, and helps with energy, metabolism, neuromuscular functions. What minerals are required for healthy bone and tooth formation? I bet you guys should know that one. Milk has it. Calcium. Calcium. Children need calcium. Phosphorus and fluoride are two other ones. What food sources supply these minerals? Well, milk supplies calcium, and then again, our red meats provide iron, and then there are some examples of some other foods as well, but primarily with calcium, milk, and most dairy products. Let's see, I'm getting close to my time frame, so we'll try to finish this up. And water plays a crucial role in regulating internal body temperatures during changes in environmental conditions and activities related to heat productions. For example, when children are outside playing, especially on the earlier parts of the school year, like August, September, it is very important that children are kept hydrated. It is especially important that they have water to drink when the weather conditions are hot or humid. They need to have access to water and be reminded to drink, to stop playing and drink. I've actually had to tell students, go get water. Stop playing and go get some water. Table 14-6, it's another yellow box on 373, is a summary of nutrients and their biological functions. I told you in one of the chapters it mentioned that there are 50 nutrients, and I didn't count 50 on that table on 373, but it's close. It's close to 50. It's like 40-something, unless I miscounted, and I could have done that because I was doing it in a hurry. Okay, that's all for now. I'll see you guys in class.